3 big signs you found the perfect partner. Hi guys, I'm Apollonia Ponti. I'm a dating relationship coach for you men to master your attraction skills and really create the life and relationships overall with women and yourself that you want. And in this video, we're going to talk about something very happy, go lucky, and light, of course, and which I'm really happy about. So a lot of people have asked me, like, what are the biggest signs that you found a great match, a perfect partner? And what I will say is it does take time to get to know someone, to create a healthy relationship as well. When we meet people in the beginning of meeting someone, we are creating this dynamic of getting to know someone. We also have to understand, like, who is this person in front of us? What are their values? What are their hobbies? What are their traits? What is their personality like? What is their humor like, right? How do they look at life? Is it the same way? Do we see things together that we can also blend a life together and contribute to one another? And so I say that right now to start off because a lot of times we get into dating or relationships, and if we want something long term, we're just kind of going like, oh, well, if we have things in common, then maybe she'll be a match. But it really goes beyond that, right? Do you both believe in having kids? Do you both believe in having marriages, right? Are you both family oriented? What are your values, right? What drives you in life? And also, is there something purposefully that you guys can create together? I believe a big sign that you found your perfect partner is when you have purpose-driven work together, which actually is one of the signs that I want to talk about today. Is a big sign that you have found the perfect match is that both of you are on a purpose together. And this is not something that is often talked about. And a purpose doesn't mean that you have to create this whole company and this is your guys' driven and purpose. No. But which would be great, but also you have purpose in something else. Maybe it's to build a family. Maybe it's to have children together and create a family that you've never had growing up before, right? Making a better life for your children. Or maybe it is creating a business together. Maybe it is helping each other write books and so on. Maybe it's about teaching salsa classes, piano classes, opening up a studio, or actually giving back to the community. So when a couple can actually be driven together in their purpose, it actually creates a bond that is unrecognizable to anybody else and nobody can touch. And this is so critical, I believe, in just relationships in general. Because what happens is, even if you both don't have the purpose together, but you have an individual purpose, but both of you can contribute to each other's purpose, there becomes this solitude, there becomes this dance, there becomes this support that there's no words that can actually describe how safe it feels and how heard you feel. And I mean, how heard you are, and also how much you're seen. Because you know, if all else fails, your partner has your back, and same thing goes vice versa. And so when we're working in life, not only for ourselves, but for other people and well, and we admire our partners for doing that, not only does it help with attraction, but it helps with us in long-term seduction. It helps with our relationship. Because here's the thing, in relationships, we don't just wake up every single day all the time and it's like, oh, this is the love of my life and I have butterflies. No. Every day, a couple makes a decision to be together and to stay together and to make the right decisions. And I think that if you start on the right foot, naturally these decisions become a part of your relationship and are just something that you do without even having to think about anymore, because the both of you are happy and you're elated together. A next one of a big sign that you found the perfect person and partner is because you both communicate effectively. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times people will be like, well, he doesn't have the same communication style, she's different. Trust me, guys, everybody communicates differently. This depends on their atmosphere of how they grew up, how, what they saw in their childhood dynamics, father, mother. You could have a couple that came from a yelling household. Let's say the woman did, and the man came from a household that the mother was maybe very submissive and the father was very dominant. And he took the submissive side and really didn't ever raise his voice, but she raised his voice. So what happens is, that doesn't mean that couple can't be together. What happens is, like I said in the first one, Are they purposely driven to make an environment feel safe for each other and actually compromise and meet each other's needs? So that yelling is not going to work for the other man, and also the indirectness is probably not going to work for the woman. So how do they come together to find the principles of the right communication? One is by talking about what they need and the right tools of communication. I don't want you to yell at use a high tone voice at me. I want you to speak the truth to me, even if it bothers you, right? So when we reach that compromise and then we discipline ourselves enough to actually do it because of the fact that we love our partner and we can openly communicate, then this is communication. And I say this because a lot of times people think, oh, if she doesn't communicate the way that I want, or if he doesn't communicate the way that I want, then it's not the match. No, it's about, do we give the space to allow that person in to show us that they can't communicate with us in a certain way that is healthy and that we can also grow together in this relationship with. Because a lot of times as well, what we do is we get so taken back, obviously, in the beginning of a relationship because someone's not treating us right. And these things happen sometimes. And there's also, this is why values is important. There's a difference between disrespect and also just being probably a little bit angry in that moment. But if someone is intentionally disrespecting you, this is also something that is a value probably that everybody should have, because we have to teach people how to treat us. And a lot of times in the beginning of a relationship, what we'll do is we expect these things from people, but we also have to understand that the beginning of a relationships are the ways that we get to assess each other's behavior and also blend as a couple to get better in love, to get better in a marriage in the future, or to get better in a relationship for the future. And so open up this space for you and your partner to have clear communication. And it starts with you, possibly. It might start with one of the partners, and it might start with her, who knows? But communication is vital. So I ask you, are you able to communicate your wants, needs, and desires with your partner? Are you able to communicate what makes you upset? Are you able to communicate the things that you've possibly have held in for a little bit, and finding the right times for one another to communicate? Because when you can communicate, you open up a space for you and your partner to expect communication all the time. So it becomes easier and easier. Third sign is respect, which was alluding to a little bit of how I was talking about when it comes to communication. Does your partner respect your needs, right? I think that speaking from experience, when I make a decision in my life, not only do I make it for myself, but I make it for my marriage as well. Is this something that can contribute to my marriage, right? Is this something that can contribute to me? And if I question if it can contribute to our marriage, then I go back into tip number 2 and I communicate with my husband and I ask him, do you think that this is a great idea? Do you think that we should do this? Do you think that I should be doing this, right? And so since we've opened up that wheelhouse of communication, he's also in the container basically to create a space where he can say no and why, and then also let me make my decision from there, because we've created that avenue of respect, which is tip number 3. So the way that we respect people and the way that respect our relationships and our partnerships is because of the fact that also too, we don't want to let our partners down. And when we lead with respect, and when we lead with intention that I want to showcase that I not only respect myself as a human, but I respect my partner as well, what happens on a conscious and subconscious level is it gets your partner to show up and respect you as well, because they don't want to let you down, right? Because on a human psychology level, let's just talk about this, right? Human characteristics, how we think, is if someone is in front of you and leading with respect and respecting you, but also has integrity for themselves and respects them, what you on conscious level will do is treat this person with respect, because you know that they will not allow anything less than that. And so when we can have clear communication and we can also respect our partner's values, needs, wants, and desires, and also in situational environments, I think this is huge. I see a lot of couples when they're with friends or family, they just kind of put their partner down. And this shows a lack of respect. I think it's not about hiding it. I think it's about communicating, of course. But how do you and your partner interact in front of other people, right? Do you guys have each other's back when the dust gets rough, right? Do you guys communicate this with each other? And then also too, sign number 4 in regards to, is this a great partner for you, and signs that this is a good partner, is that the both of you look at life pretty similar, right? I think that when we get so caught up in life and our expectations, like, what is the end goal for the both of you, right? What is this end goal for the both of you, right? What do you need and what does she need, and what life do you want to create together? A lot of times, I think, especially now more than ever, is we get into relationships and I ask people and I'm like, what is your goal of being together? Does this person even want a relationship sometimes, right? And a lot of times people can't even really answer that question because they don't even know the goal of them being together. So if you want some advice and you're looking for understanding how to have goals together, I want to give you something that I've actually done that's worked great in my relationship as well, and now my marriage, is when we started and we were dating only, when we got together, we did yearly check-ins, right? We did financial check-ins, we did credit check-ins, we did check-ins for work, how much hours we should be working, do we need more date nights, personal check-ins, family check-ins about my mom, his family, what do we need to do? How do we need to show up for these people, and how do we need to show up for people, and now how do we need to show up for the people that we create, right? And at the end of the day, the person that he always goes to is me. And so within this, it's really important also to recognize that when you create this trust, is what I'm saying, and respect, this mutual respect for one another, and you allow the woman to also show up in her feminine, you allow the man to show up in his masculine, which I have a lot of videos about, and I'll put up here in the cards. I want you guys to also realize that the bigger picture is beyond just, I'm not too sure, or we'll have the same hobbies, or, well, she's cute and she's a good woman. No, what is your big overall picture? And I think a lot of us are not even talking about, is this woman in debt? Is this man in debt, right? So I think it's really important that you have these check-ins and yearly 6-month, 3-month check-ins, whatever you have to do to continue to be inspired by these signs that I'm talking about, because relationships are constant work, and it's about how we put in the work and how much work we put in to actually get in return what we want and what we expect. If you want more help in regards to really creating a better place in your relationship, I would really encourage you to sign up for a coaching. You can sign up for a coaching with me or any one of my coaches. I'll put it in the link below, which we offer one-on-one coaching with you guys. And always, I have a special made video for you over here on the left. Don't forget to also download this free ebook right below, and I'll see you again in the next video. And remember, you are always loved.